I've noticed two things that were in every single story, and it couldn't be an accident. Family, you always emphasize people's families. And second, the social capital surrounding them when they got to this country. And I wonder whether, as so many people talk about social capital failing in this country, declining in this country, sort of the Robert Putnam bowling alone theory, do you emphasize that because you're concerned about the future of social capital in this country, or because you think it's more vibrant than we give it credit for?
I think it's more vibrant than we give it credit for. There are millions of acts of compassion that take place on a daily basis in America that most people don't know about. It's really one of the unique aspects of our country. Many societies have forfeited compassion to government, but government's not compassionate. Compassion exists because people's hearts are pure, more pure, because they do want to love somebody. And also one of the themes in this story is religion. Catholic Charities, for example, is part of the compassionate agenda. But the two North Korean escapees found solace as a result of missionaries hiding in China, waiting to envelop a stranger in love. And, my whole point on all this immigration debate and stuff is, I think if we valued life as precious and every life matters, that we're all God's children, that all of a sudden the tone of the debate might be a little better. And no, I think compassion is very strong in America. As a matter of fact, the more dysfunctional government looks, the more compassionate people are, because it is an efficient way of dealing in society.
Talking about how immigrants appreciate America and how sometimes those of us who were born here take it for granted. Are there things that others can do? I mean, I think part of why you did this was to sort of shine a light on how special it is.
Yeah.
What else should be done to make people appreciate what we've got?
Well, it's there needs to be leadership that inspires and reminds people of the beauty of America, not the ugliness. Right now, we're just overwhelmed with a lot of friction, tension. But, it's an interesting question that was asked about, do I think that America is a compassionate country? And I know it is. And one of the reasons I talk about these stories is because almost to a person, they're willing to put something back in our society. In other words, the compassion they received is a catalyst to then in turn give back. And it's that cycle of, receiving and then giving and receiving and giving that had made us very unique. I hope this book will help set a different tone for the immigration debate. I fully understand the populist angst that comes with the immigration debate. I'll never forget, a long time ago, we were campaigning in a town in Iowa, and one of the Latino kids that was in my campaign, it's 2000, got profiled. And, it really irritated me, frankly. And, I was told by one of the city fathers that, well, we just don't see many of them around here. And it became very apparent that immigration was going to create some cultural tensions, as those meatpacking plants up there in Iowa needed workers, and the Swedes weren't all that anxious to do it. That in comes people who are starving to do the work, and hard workers, and all of a sudden those communities begin to change, and the culture, the friction, and I didn't really realize that. I mean, after all, I grew up in Texas, where we were Mexico, and
can you understand where those? This is actually one of the main questions I wanted to ask you. Can you understand those sentiments, though? I mean, I think because a lot of it, I think we are in one of these spasms of fear and ugly moment, to be sure. But some of that, I would say, take that example, what that gentleman told you. You grew up and you had a very particular experience with immigrants,
Sure,
right?
I did.
Starting with Paula. And then from there, you saw immigrants in a very positive light.
Absolutely. As governor of Texas.
Can you understand, with people who haven't had that experience, why they come to a different conclusion, or they see that this is a threat? This person might take my job.
Yeah, and one reason I can see it is because I studied history. And I remember the Know Nothing Party, fiercely anti-immigrant. I remember the immigration policy of the 20s, too many Jews and Italians. Therefore, we have zero immigrants, except for, of course, on the Texas border, where immigrants were always coming in to help, the cattle raisers and the farmers. But yeah, I fully understand it. And I don't cast aspersion. But I also know that without those immigrants, the economies of those areas would be, paltry.
Right.
And so therefore the purpose of the book and the purpose of, I think, responsible policymakers is to say, look, we fully understand where you're coming from. I mean, English as a second language is all of a sudden being introduced into classrooms for the first time in some school districts or hospitals, with young, immigrant moms filling emergency rooms. And we know that we understand your angst. On the other hand, I hope you take time to learn about the motivations and the positive contributions these citizens can make. Sure, it's a natural phenomenon, and it's not a one-time experience in our country. We've been having these spasms of anxiety for a long period of time. On the other hand, a confident nation says "e pluribus unum." For the unsophisticated, Steve, that means out of many one.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Happy to teach you a little Latin, and but and sometimes we lose our confidence.